When The Mask hit the big screen in 1994, it was a smash hit, thanks to Jim Carrey's manic energy and the movie's over-the-top cartoonish antics. The movie was a perfect fit for video game adaptation, and in 1995, The Mask for the Super Nintendo Entertainment System arrived. With its vibrant graphics and fast-paced action, the game attempted to capture the chaos and humor of the movie. Developed by Black Pearl Software and published by THQ, it was one of many licensed games of the era attempting to cash in on the popularity of blockbuster movies. Black Pearl faced the challenge of translating the movie's zany humor and cartoonish violence into a playable experience while staying true to the movie's essence. Given the massive popularity of the movie, expectations for the game were high. Developers focused on recreating the wild personality of the titular character, complete with his exaggerated moves and surreal abilities. The game's design leaned heavily into slapstick comedy and chaotic action, echoing the movie's tone. While the Super Nintendo was a powerful console for its time, the developers had to carefully balance the Mask's wild moves and animations with the hardware's capabilities. The result was a game that featured smooth sprite animations and colorful environments, but occasionally suffered from repetitive level design and frustrating difficulty spikes. The game's story loosely follows the plot of the movie, where Stanley Ipkiss, a meek bank clerk, discovers a magical mask that transforms him into the mischievous, reality-bending Mask. In the game, Stanley must navigate Edge City to confront and defeat crime boss Dorian Tyrell, who plans to use the mask's power for evil. Along the way, players encounter iconic locations from the movie, including Stanley's apartment, the park, and the Coco Bongo nightclub. Although the story is simple, the game's humor and character interactions bring the movie's world to life in an engaging way. It is a side-scrolling action platformer that puts players in control of the Mask, utilizing his over-the-top abilities to battle enemies and traverse the environment. True to the character, the Mask's abilities are the highlight of the gameplay. Players can spin like a tornado to attack enemies, use a comically oversized mallet, launch horn blasts to stun foes, rocket jump to reach high platforms. These powers add a layer of variety to the gameplay, making each level feel dynamic and chaotic. The game features multiple levels inspired by the movie, each filled with enemies, obstacles, and collectibles. Levels often involve navigating through enemies while avoiding hazards like falling objects and traps. However, the game is notorious for its difficulty. Enemies can overwhelm players quickly, and some platforming sections require precision timing. In keeping with the spirit of the movie, combat often feels more like a slapstick comedy routine than a traditional fight. For instance, using the mallet to squash enemies or the horn to stun them leads to comical animations. The game's developers worked hard to incorporate elements from the movie, including Stanley's transformation sequences and the Mask's wacky personality. Even minor details, like the Mask's facial expressions, reflect Jim Carrey's performance. Unlike many licensed games of the era, The Mask was released exclusively for the Super Nintendo, making it a sought-after title for collectors. While praised for its animation and humor, the game was criticized for its difficulty and repetitive gameplay. Despite these shortcomings, the game has gained a cult following over the years, with fans appreciating its chaotic charm. The game includes several nods to the movie, such as the Mask's famous dance moves and catchphrases like "smokin'." These small touches help bridge the gap between the game and its cinematic counterpart. It is a prime example of the challenges developers faced when adapting movies into games during the 16-bit era. While not perfect, it remains a nostalgic reminder of the ambitious licensed games of the 1990s. The Mask for the Super Nintendo Entertainment System may not have achieved the critical acclaim of other 16-bit classics, but it's a fascinating piece of gaming history. Its vibrant graphics, zany humor, and inventive gameplay mechanics capture the spirit of the movie, even if the execution falters at times. For fans of retro gaming or the Mask franchise, this game offers a unique and challenging experience. Have you played this chaotic platformer? Share your memories and thoughts in the comments below. And don't forget to like, subscribe, and hit that notification bell for more gaming nostalgia.